Hey guys, here we are at part 1 of the story where Naruto is Jinchuriki of 9 tails as well as he is heir of Sage of 6 paths as well Minato Namikaze. We will see as Naruto takes on Shinobi world by storm. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe button. Now, let's jump right in. Fire Country, Valley of the Dawn. People say that things always come in threes, bad things and good things no matter what they are always supposed to come in threes. The monstrous Mangekyo Sharingan for example had 3 sets of layers no matter which design you saw. Hell, the legendary Sannin was another example of this. They were all a team back when they were Junin under the Sun Daime Hokage and they became some of the strongest fighters in the world. Sadly no one wanted to inform Uzumaki Naruto of this little detail. His current teacher was one of the legendary Sannin, a man named Jiraiya, and the two had come across each other during the 1-month break in the chunin exams. Since Jiraiya had knocked out the boy's original teacher for the exam, he had to take the kid as his student and taught him the Kushios no Jutsu. Sadly the boy's chakra network was so large it was nearly impossible to control. This was just made worse by the fact that Jiraiya discovered a suppression seal on him courtesy of his fellow Sannin Orochimaru. It was removed however and Naruto's chakra control shot up to its normal level, allowing him to master the water walking exercise. After many trials and errors at the Kushios no Jutsu, Jiraiya had enough and decided to have the boy try and draw out the monstrous chakra that was sealed in him by his own father. "Forgive me Minato," Jiraiya thought before he dropped her new student on the ground. "Where am I?" Naruto blinked and turned to him. "Get up," Jiraiya ordered and Naruto shakily stood. What is it?" Naruto asked unsure. "Your training ends here. If you value your life, you've got to figure things out for yourself," Jiraiya said simply. "Huh?" Naruto asked confused before Jiraiya pushed him. The blonde Junin reeled back and fell, straight into the large valley below. "Oh crap. Now, we'll find out whether the Kyuubi is pleasing or a curse," Jiraiya mused as he saw his student fall. Naruto tried to use chakra but every time he touched the wall he couldn't get any grip and kept on falling. "If I can't grab onto something then I'll die. I'm really going to die." Naruto's mindscape, Jinchuriki seal drip. 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 "Oh my aching head," Naruto groaned as he looked up. "Where am I?" he thought as he looked around the sewer-like environment he found himself in. A loud roar was heard as it echoed through the corridor. "This feeling, it's that chakra." Naruto narrowed his eyes as he made his way through the corridor and entered a large room. "What the heck is this?" he asked in thought when he came across the large gate-like prison. "Boy, come closer," a sinister voice said from the darkness beyond the gate. "What?" the Naruto jumped back as 4 large claws attempted to catch him through the bars. "I want to devour you but this gate, this seal prevents me from doing so, it won't open." "How irritating," the voice growled out in frustration. "Why you are, Kyuubi no Yoko," Naruto breathed out. "Child of my enemy, why have you come? Even those eyes of yours will not save you from me, so tell me what you want or leave." "Boy," the giant fox roared in fury. Naruto gulped before he smirked up at the fox. "Hey furball. I've been letting you live in my body all this time and you owe me rent. As payment I'll take you chakra." Kyuubi's sinister laughter echoed through the chamber before he responded. "You've got some nerve, brat. You are either very brave or very stupid," just like he was. "Very well boy, I will reward you for having such nerve but know that I am only doing this to help ensure my own survival." Red liquid leaked through the bars and engulfed the blonde where he stood. Fire Country, Valley of the Dawn, Kushios no Jutsu. Naruto called out as smoke exploded all around him. Jiraiya smirked from his position above the valley. "Nicely done kid." Just then Naruto shouted in pain, "What's going on?" The large toad, Gamabunta, jumped out of the valley with Naruto who was covering his eyes and yelling in pain. "Jiraiya, what's going on here?" Gamabunta demanded as the Gama-sennin jumped up onto his head and approached his student. "This is Uzumaki Naruto, my new student and your new summoner. What's wrong kid?" Jiraiya asked concerned. Naruto looked up at him and Jiraiya had to stop himself from falling. "Oh no!" His eyes. "My eyes hurt Hiro-sennin, what's going on?" Naruto asked frantically as tears were falling down his face. "Your eyes, you have the Rinnegan," Jiraiya gulped. "He has the what?" Gamabunta demanded. "No one has ridden on my head since the Yondaime Hokage." "Fine, I will allow him to be a summoner but you had better make him into someone dependable." Jiraiya. The giant toad disappeared in a poof of smoke allowing Jiraiya to catch Naruto as the two fell to the ground. "Naruto, you're channeling chakra to your eyes, so stop channeling chakra and the pain should stop too," Jiraiya told him. Naruto did as he was told. He sighed in relief as the pain disappeared. What was that, Uro-sennin? "Look at me," Jiraiya ordered and Naruto did so. It seems that your Rinnegan is different from Nagato's, you can deactivate yours at will. Rinnegan? Naruto asked confused. A dujutsu said to be the most noble of the three, supposedly it originated with the Rikudo Zenin, said to be the first shinobi. He created the original forms of jutsu, ninjutsu, genjutsu, daijutsu, kenjutsu, fuinjutsu, and kinjutsu. It's a very dangerous dujutsu, Jiraiya explained. Who is Nagato? Naruto asked him. Nagato was an old student of mine, I heard he died a while back, but he also had the Rinnegan. It's rumored that the Rinnegan always appears when the world becomes corrupt, it's capable of being both a godlike force and an all-obliterating instrument of destruction. I never thought I would see one again. I never wanted to see one again, Jiraiya continued. What should I do? Naruto asked hesitantly. For now keep the fact that you have those eyes a secret, we don't want any of the other countries finding out yet, and we definitely don't need Orochimaru taking an interest in you, Jiraiya told the blonde. Naruto gulped but nodded, sure thing Oro-senin. Jiraiya paused for a moment before letting out a sigh. Alright, let's see if we can get you some semblance of control over the Rinnegan, and maybe Kyuubi's chakra. Fire Country, Konoha Chunin Exam Arena. The day of the exam finals the entire village was abuzz with activity, but none more than the arena itself. People from all over the elemental countries had come to watch the tournament, where the strongest Shinobi from the various villages came to see if they could be promoted. Among them were the members of the infamous Konoha 12, as they were being called now. The Hokage, Kazekage, and surprising the Raikage had shown up to watch the tournament even though he didn't have anyone participating in the exam. When asked why he was there, he just said that he came to watch the tournament. The participants soon arrived and stood in the middle of the field, but Uchiha Sasuke, the heir to the Uchiha clan, had yet to arrive. Silently Sarutobi Hiruzen cursed Kakashi constant lateness. Why did he have to be late now of all times? Sasuke-kun's still not here, Ino said as she looked down from the audience. Sakura remained silent beside her as she thought about her missing teammate. Ino nudged her. Hey! I know you're worried about Sasuke-kun, but Naruto's match is first, so why don't you stop fretting and cheer him on? Sakura turned to look at her old friend and smiled. Yeah. The first match of the Chunin exams will now begin. Will Hyuga, Neji and Uzumaki Naruto step forward while the other competitors go the fighter's box to wait until it is your turn, said the examiner, Genma. As the other participants left the two, Ino couldn't help but say, he's up against Neji, can he actually win against him? I don't know, Sakura said honestly as she remembered their mission to Wave Country and their time in the Forest of Death. She smiled slightly, but he won't go down easy. The kid doesn't stand a chance, he's fighting a Hyuga, someone in the audience spoke up and several others agreed with him. Kiba just grinned slightly at that. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Look at what happened though, I got my ass kicked. Up in the cage box the three assembled Kages looked down at the two fighters. So that's the Hyuga progeny? Asked the Raikage. Hiruzen nodded slightly, yes he is. His father was the one that died during the incident with your predecessor Raikage Dono. The Raikage nodded in understand, I'm sure the boy must hold much animosity towards our village. The boy will have an easy win, spoke the Kazekage. Hiruzen let a small smirk grace his lips, we shall see. The Raikage looked over at his bodyguard, a 13-year-old Kumo Chunin by the name of Yugito. What is it, Yugito-chan? Grandfather, that blonde boy, I sense a great power within him, the blonde girl whispered to him. The Raikage nodded and whispered back, yes, I feel it too. Yugito nodded, what should we do? The Raikage just smiled at his granddaughter, just watch this tournament closely. I vow to win, Naruto spoke as he thrust out his hand towards Neji. He remembered his meeting with Hinata back in the training field before he came to stadium and silently swore that he would do everything within his power to defeat Neji. You appear to believe you can win, Neji chuckled in amusement. You cannot change destiny though, fate has already decided the outcome of this match. I cannot wait to see your eyes when you realize the truth, he continued as he settled into his Joken stance. Naruto just grinned in response, whatever. Let's go wild. Let the first match of the Chunin exam finals begin, now. Genma called out as he jumped out of the way of the two. Almost immediately Naruto made a hand seal, Tajukage Bunshin on Jutsu. 20 shadow clones popped into existence in front of Naruto and he called out, charge. The kid knows the Tajukage Bunshin on Jutsu, that's a Jonin level Kinjutsu, where did he learn that, and more importantly how can he use it so effortlessly? Izumo asked as he observed the fight. I don't understand, He can't even pull off a simple Bunshin no Jutsu, how can he use a more powerful version of the technique? Asked Kotetsu in confusion. The fool. Neji thought as the clones charged. He activated his Byakugan and smirked at the oncoming one-man army. His clones have an equal amount of chakra in them, so I am unable to ascertain which one is the real one, but you cannot fool my eyes. He dodged the attacks the clones sent at him and charged right at Naruto. The one who hangs back while his clones fight is the real one. He lands a Juken strike at Naruto's heart and sends him crashing into the nearby tree. It's over. The Naruto he hit, however, suddenly disappeared in a poof of smoke a moment later. What? The ground below at his feet suddenly parted as Naruto emerged and landed a solid blow to the Hyuga's chin, sending him flying back. Now good enough. Neji recovered, however, and shot the blonde a glare. You. I came into this match knowing I'd probably lose, but I hate it when bastards like you say there is no hope at all, so I won't take it lying down, Naruto shouted at him. How did you do it? I always kept my eyes on your original body, Neji asked with a glare. Do you really think I was using those clones to fight you? I was just using them to find out what you were made of. Do you really think I'm stupid enough to fight a Hyuga in close combat without an ace up my sleeve? Naruto shot back with a grin. This ignorant little. Neji trailed off as his eyes narrowed. The clones also served another purpose, Naruto stated. And what might that be? Asked the Hyuga progeny. To find out if there was gap in your line of sight, the blonde answered truthfully. What? Neji turned swiftly in surprise but was unprepared for one of Naruto's clones to land a rather powerful punch to his face. The blow sent him flying back with the clones in pursuit. He located the gap in my eyesight with his clones. Finish him now, Naruto shouted to his clones as they took out their weapons to finish the job. I have no choice, I must use the jutsu, Neji thought as he touched back down on solid ground and expelled chakra from all over his body. Kaiden. He called out as he spun and encased himself in a large ball of spinning chakra. The clones were destroyed in moments. He's really pushing Neji into a corner, Ino said in disbelief. Go Naruto. Sakura cheered at seeing her teammate beating the Hyuga. I don't believe it, Izumo said, not believing what he was seeing. This kid. Kotetsu muttered under his breath as he watched Neji execute a Kaiden. That plan was worthy of a practical joke, Izumo said as he let a small grin form on his lips. Impressive, the Raikage commented as the Hokage smiled slightly. The boy thought up a plan almost instantly to throw off his opponent, he continued. Hiruzen nodded slightly at that. The boy continues to surprise me as well. The Kazekage remained silent as he kept his calculating eyes on the arena below. This guy. Yugito thought from the side as she watched the match. Do you see how you cannot change destiny? My fate is to win this match, you cannot stand against fate, Neji told him. Naruto remained silent, so he continued, I have had enough of your games, I shall end this now. He charged forward faster than Naruto could react. Hakiraku Juion Sho. The blonde Junon couldn't help but stand there as he was battered by Neji's barrage of strikes. Every strike felt like he had been hit by hundreds of needles at once, and he soon found himself being sent flying back by Neji's final open palm strike to his chest. He coughed up some blood as his body hit the ground and Neji smirked at his handiwork. It's over, the Hyuga progeny said in finality. He's done for, Izumo sighed at seeing the brutal attack. I guess I should have expected this outcome. Ino shook her head as she leaned back. Naruto. Sakura thought as she remembered what he had done in the preliminaries. He is a very entertaining boy, but he is still no match for a genius, the Kazekage spoke in slight amusement at seeing the blonde Junon go down. Hiruzen remained silent as he sent a sideways glance at his fellow Kage. It's almost like he's referring to someone else. The Raikage didn't speak, instead opting to just watch. Somehow I doubt it's over. That was too easy. Proctor, call the match. He's not getting up, Neji stated confidently. Sadly, reality didn't agree with him. Naruto rose a moment later. He glowed red as an enormous amount of crimson chakra erupted from his body. Wanna bet? How? Neji asked as he took a step back at seeing the red chakra. He focused in on its source and his eyes widened further. Was that a fox? Uro-sen told me not to use the Rinnegan unless I had to. I guess I'll just have to stick with the furball's chakra, Naruto thought as the chakra encased his body in what looked like flames. He clenched his as he settled his gaze on his opponent. Now do you understand, bastard? I had you beat from the start. I just wanted you to show me your trump cards first so I knew what to expect. Neji's eyes widened at that. He had this planned from the start. He's a Jinchuriki, the Raikage spoke as he watched the match. Yes, I believe it's the QB, Yugito said barely above a whisper. This will be interesting, the Raikage smirked as he continued to watch. This chakra, when did he learn to control it in a stable form? Did Kakashi teach him this? Were the thoughts running through Hiruzen's head? The Kazekage continued to watch in silent anger. Naruto cocked his fist back and then threw it out at Neji. A moment later the air around his fist rippled and was propelled towards where Neji stood. The Hyuga progeny could barely dodge as the shockwave blew away the ground he had been standing on just moments ago. Just then Naruto shot forward faster than he had been before and Neji turned swiftly to intercept him. A moment later Naruto disappeared in a burst of speed, surprising Neji, and he couldn't turn in time to block the punch that connected with his face. He's faster than before. What's going on here? Neji thought as he recovered from the blow but couldn't stop the follow-up attacks that Naruto delivered one after another. I have to keep in close and not let him escape, Naruto thought as he delivered yet another punch to the young Hyuga's face. It's no good, Neji thought as he began to spin with chakra erupting from him. Kaiden. Naruto jumped away to avoid the boy's ultimate defense. You cannot defeat me. Fate will not allow it, he told the blonde. It may be the Hyuga way to cave into destiny, but it's not mine. If you believe that you can't change it, then don't try, just stand there and take it, Naruto shouted as he threw out a punch Neji which sent a shockwave at him. Kaiden. The Hyuga progeny spun as he released a large amount of chakra. The shockwave slammed into his chakra barrier and was harmlessly deflected. What a fool, direct assaults don't work on me. Now. Naruto shot forward faster than the average eye could see, and just as Neji powered down his jutsu Naruto struck. You shouldn't let your guard down. The blonde shouted as he cocked his fist back. There's not enough time to use the Kaiden again. He had this planned. Neji's eyes widened as Naruto came within range. There was an echoing slam as Naruto's fist connected with Neji's unprotected face. The Hyuga progeny couldn't even register that he had been sent flying through the air before crashing hard into the stadium wall. He dropped out of the hole in the wall and collapsed on the ground a moment later. Neji thought as he tried to remain conscious. He looked up to see Naruto towering over his beaten form. I was careless. For the record, I failed the academy exam 3 times. Because unluckily for me there was always one jutsu on the exam, the Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto told him, making his eyes go wide. My clones were pathetic, they still are, he continued. Neji looked up at him surprised. But you? The reason I can't create regular clones is because I have too much chakra to make them. That's why I can create Jonin level shadow clones so easily. That's what you saw today, not my weaknesses but my strengths. Hinata is the same way, you always see her weaknesses but never her strengths. For someone who is supposed to be able to see everything, you sure are blind, Naruto told him. Don't come to me with this destiny stuff, because unlike me you're not a failure, he finished with a grin and turned away. Winner, Uzumaki Naruto, the examiner declared as he gestured towards the orange-clad blonde Jinan. He won, Sakura shouted and the crowd burst into cheers. How did did you see that? Ino asked as she saw Naruto walk off towards the exit with his arm held up high, acknowledgement as he moved. Of course I did, Sakura told her as she saw Genma say a few words to Neji before the medics took him away. I can't believe the kid actually won, Izumo said as he watched. Kotetsu nodded at that. I can't believe he was able to use its chakra in a stable form. Who would teach him something like that though? Not everyone is able to actually teach someone how to control the power like that, Izumo asked. I don't know, but whoever it is did a hell of a job, Kotetsu stated as Naruto got back to the examinee's box. Yugito smirked like a cat as it stalks a mouse. He's not bad. The Raikage let a wry smile creep its way onto his face, a bit reckless, but if he's given enough training he could be a very formidable adversary. He kind of reminds me of them now that I think about it. Who, grandfather? Yugito asked him curiously. Namikaze Minato and Uzumaki Kushina, the Raikage whispered to her. Yugito looked at him wide-eyed. Wait, his surname is Uzumaki, you don't think that he... The Raikage chuckled slightly. I have never heard of a blonde-haired Uzumaki before, it makes you wonder. The others in the box however weren't paying any attention to them since they were already deep in their own thoughts. Very good Naruto-kun, you will definitely make chunin if I have anything to say about it, the Hokage thought as he looked down on the competitor's box. That brat, I must make sure he dies today. He could become a problem for me in the future if I leave him alone, the Kazekage thought as he stared down on at the arena waiting for the next match to begin. In the stands a disguised Kabuto stood confused since his master had not given the signal to start the invasion by now. He had thought it was because Sasuke was not there so he could keep an eye on the boy, but now, it was almost like his master was waiting for something. The Genin cast his gaze towards where Naruto was talking to his Nara friend in the competitor's box and narrowed his eyes. Orochimaru-sama must want you dead Naruto-kun if he's postponed the invasion. Kabuto thought. The next match was supposed to be between Uchiha Sasuke and Sabaku no Gaara. It turned out however that Sasuke hadn't shown up, so his match was pushed back to last. The next match was between Nara Shikamaru and Sabaku no Tamari. Let's just say it was mostly one-sided. Shikamaru had thought up multiple strategies on top of strategies and finally managed to catch Tamari in his shadow jutsu, which rendered her practically defeated. He of course forfeited a moment later, saying it was too troublesome to continue. The match after that was supposed to be between Aburame Shino and Sabaku no Kankuro. That didn't happen however. Kankuro had forfeited before the match even began, and almost instantly Shino and Shikamaru knew something was up. Shino discreetly drained Tamari and Kankuro of chakra, though his bugs refused to go near Gaara for some reason. Apparently his chakra was foul by bug standards. The final match of the quarterfinals finally began however between Uchiha Sasuke and Sabaku no Gaara. Sasuke had arrived just in time with Kakashi. By now Naruto, Shikamaru and Shino had come up to the stands and had met up with their friends. It turns out that Hinata had been healed by some Anbu that was in the stadium during Naruto's match with Neji. "Hey Naruto," Kakashi said as he approached his blonde student. Naruto looked over his shoulder and greeted him. "Hey Kakashi-sensei, how are you?" The copy nin nodded as they turned their attention towards the match. "I'm alright. I'm sorry I couldn't train you for the finals Naruto, but I had other matters to attend to." Naruto nodded as he clenched his fists. "Yeah, like teaching Sasuke cool jutsus, I bet." Kakashi looked saddened for a moment before saying, "Hey now Naruto, I didn't." "Chidori," Sasuke called out from the arena as his fist was engulfed in lightning. "You were saying," Naruto growled under his breath. He needed it in order to effectively fight Gaara, Kakashi said, trying to defend himself as he saw his prized student move to attack a ball of sand that Gaara was now encased in. "Hey," Naruto chuckled slightly. "What's so funny?" Kakashi asked with a raised eyebrow. "It's funny because even with that new jutsu of his, he won't win," Naruto said with an almost darkened chuckle. "Why is it that you believe that?" the copy nin asked as his eyes narrowed. Naruto shot him a small smirk. "Because he's fighting a demon container, we're not easily beaten by a thing like that." Kakashi's eyes widened in surprise as he saw Sasuke was forced to back off after he landed his Chidori attack. Sand erupted from the sphere that protected Gaara and began to batter the weakened Sasuke, much to the shock of the crowd. Just as Gaara was about to deal the finishing blow, Kakashi jumped down and retrieved his student as Genma called the match. After Kakashi laid Sasuke down in the stands next to a now tearful Sakura, Gaara called out to the stands, "Come out Uzumaki Naruto. Mother wants your blood." The stadium fell silent at the proclamation before the sound of footsteps could be heard. Naruto had turned and begun moving towards the stairs. "Naruto, you can't seriously be thinking of fighting that monster, are you? Look at what he did to Sasuke-kun," Sakura shouted in disbelief. Naruto just chuckled with his back towards her and the rest of the Rookie Nine, as they were called. "A monster, huh? You have no idea. He just kept walking, and made to pass his sensei. Naruto, you should forfeit. Gaara is not an ordinary shinobi, even I would be hard-pressed to defeat him," Kakashi told him truthfully. Naruto just shook his head and passed by his sensei in a heartbeat. "I can't do that, sensei. I can feel it. He's someone like me. I have to find out which one of us chose the right path." "Alright then, good luck," the copy nin whispered as he watched his blonde student head down the stairs. "Was that really such a good idea, Kakashi?" Asuma asked him with a raised eyebrow. "Watch this match carefully and you'll find out the answer," was all Kakashi said as he turned his attention back down to the arena floor. Naruto reached and walked out on the arena floor while keeping his eyes on his opponent. The red-haired boy had a crazed look on his face which described his anger at not being allowed to kill the Uchiha in his last match. Naruto wouldn't admit it, but he was actually afraid of Gaara for the sheer power he possessed and the fact that he would kill anyone who caught his interest. Gaara was holding his head slightly with one hand and the other was clutching the closing wound that Sasuke had done to him during the last match. "Sasuke really did a number on this guy," Naruto mused as he saw the wound. "Begin," Genma called out as he jumped away from the two fighters. Almost immediately Gaara sent a large cluster of sand at Naruto at high speeds, which Naruto tried to dodge as it came at him. He rolled under another line of sand and jumped onto the side of the arena wall while using chakra to stick to it. Enough dodging, Naruto thought as he jumped off of the wall to avoid another cluster of sand from pummeling him. He made a hand seal and immediately 7 clones popped into existence beside him. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Hold still Uzumaki Naruto, Gaara said crazed as he unleashed a wave of sand upon the clones. Ryu Sabakuryu. He called out as he attacked. The clones were wiped out in matter of seconds, but so was Naruto as well, leaving the arena barren beside himself. Come out Uzumaki Naruto. 3 clones appeared around him and attacked one at a time. The first was stabbed with a lance of sand, the second was cut in half and the last was slammed down onto the ground. It all happened in a matter of seconds, but it was just a distraction, and a test of sorts. A moment later Gaara turned only for Naruto to appear and deliver a solid punch to the Sunanin's face. Gaara grunted as he flew back several feet before skidding slightly and regaining his balance. He was testing how long it takes my sand to move. A crack had formed on his cheek, which signified that the layer of sand that protected his body had been hit. This guy, how do I beat him? While I got friends who helped with my loneliness, he remained alone all this time, Naruto thought as he stared at his opponent. Only then can you be truly strong. The distant memory echoed through his mind and his eyes hardened. What did he say? I can't remember. He growled in thought and watched as Gaara began to laugh. Now what? Gaara's laughter grew as sand began to creep up his body and engulfed him. It consumed him as his chaotic laughter echoed through the stadium until the sand took the shape of a raccoon with diamond-like eyes. You're interesting Uzumaki Naruto, Gaara roared as he jumped towards the blonde. What is this feeling? Naruto thought as he felt anxiety, dread and also excitement. Was it? He didn't know. What he did know, however, was that every part of him was screaming to fight and win. He jumped back as Gaara crashed down on where he was standing a moment ago. For some reason I don't want to lose to this guy. What's he doing? He's a sitting duck, Kiba growled as he watched the match. I am unsure. Shino commented, puzzled also. He's trying to find a reason to fight, Kakashi explained to the assembled group. A reason? What good will that do? Kiba asked, surprised. The Kapin sighed and shook his head. If you were in his position, what would you fight for? Well, the Inuzuka Shinon thought about it for a moment before answered. Well, I guess my family and friends. I mean, I wouldn't want to let them down or nothing. Exactly, Naruto is the same way, but in this case he doesn't really have a reason to fight and so can't win against Gaara as he is now, Kakashi finished. What about Neji then? He beat Neji in the first round, so he must have a reason, Ino spoke up. Kakashi sighed with a nod. His reason for that was most likely for Hinata-san back in the preliminaries. Hey, take a look, he's fighting back again, Sakura said, catching their attention. Watch this match carefully, you're about to see exactly what Naruto is capable of, Kakashi said with a grin under his mask, surprising the assembled Jonin and Jonin. What does he mean by that? The Jonin asked in thought. Do you have someone precious to you? I understand now, Naruto whispered as he stood up. When a person has something they want to protect, that's when they become truly strong. I've been seeing his face since this fight started, but I couldn't seem to remember what he said or who he was. Now I know though, I will not lose to you, Naruto shouted as he started making hand seals as fast as he could. Come on, I just need to summon one of the lower toads, he thought as he slammed his open palm down on the ground. Kushios no Jutsu called out as a small red toad appeared in front of him. Hey bro, you must be Naruto. I've been told about you, the toad spoke. Gaara laughed at the sight and crossed his arms. This is what you bring forth to aid you? Pathetic. Suna Shuriken. He let loose a volley of sand at him in the shape of a cluster of shuriken. Hold on, Naruto shouted as he grabbed a hold of the toad and jumped to avoid the volley. He grunted in pain as 3 of the sand shurikens grazed his shoulder and leg. Damn. You okay bro? The toad asked, slightly worried. Naruto just chuckled in response since his wounds had already healed. I'm just fine, stay out of trouble until I need you. Run and hide, I gotcha. The name's Gamakachi, just so you know. Gamakachi did a mock salute and jumped away towards the nearby tree. Alright you, playtime's over, Naruto said as crimson chakra erupted from his body and engulfed him in what appeared to be flames. Let's go wild. Well, at least we know who trained him, Kakashi said as he grinned under his mask. Of course only Jiraiya-sama could have to summon toads and control that chakra, he finished. Guy nodded at his side, having assumed his thinking pose. Even so, to actually be able to use it in a stable form. Asuma nodded. Everyone from Konoha is in shock at seeing him wield it like this. That's 2 trump cards he's used in this match, that chakra and his summoning. I wonder if he's got anything else, Kakashi mused as he watched the two fighters charge at one another. Not likely, Gotetsu said from the side. Kakashi just grinned under his mask. Oh, I wouldn't be so sure of that. Still, I wonder why Jiraiya-sama would teach a Chunin, let alone him of all people, Asuma wondered aloud. Kakashi narrowed his eyes at the man for a second. Naruto is no ordinary child. We are aware of that, Kakashi-san, Kurenai stated. Kakashi just shook his head. No, you aren't. There are things about Naruto that no one in Konoha can understand, things that are far bigger than the burden he carries and would shake this village to its very foundations. He fell silent, allowing the other Jonin to think about what he had said. The small shockwave blew Gaara back, but he landed in a crouch and recovered in moments. A second later, Naruto appeared in front of him and landed a kick to his sand-covered head. He slammed hard into the arena wall, leaving a small crater in his wake. Almost instantly, Naruto was in front of him again and punched him into the wall with his red chakra-covered fist. Dust shot out from where they stood when he landed the blow, but it cleared just as fast. Naruto grabbed Gaara's sand tail and swung him round before slamming him into the wall again with even greater force. After a few more seconds passed, Naruto was blown back by Gaara's large sand claw and landed sprawled at the base of the nearby tree. Bro? Gamabunta asked as he saw his summoner stand up. I'm fine, he's tough, Naruto told him as he saw Gaara stand up also. Ha 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 ha. Gaara laugh echoed throughout the stadium as sand began to gather around him. You amuse me, Uzumaki Naruto, he continued to laugh as the sand engulfed him in a column of sorts. Now what is he doing? Naruto asked in thought before the column of sand suddenly exploded upwards and outwards. Damn! He thought as he scrambled for cover. After the dust settled, he stepped out from behind the tree he had used with Gamabunta now resting on his head. Well shit. Where Gaara once stood now stood a 40-foot-tall tanuki made of sand. This just got a lot harder. Bro? How do you plan on beating this guy? Gamabunta asked him nervously. I'm working on it. What the hell is that? Ino asked in a shout as she saw most of the higher-ranking ninja around them looking like they were having a panic attack. That is a demon, Kakashi said simply. What? Ino asked in fear. It's the Ichibi no Tanuki, also known as Suna no Shukaku, Guy explained further. It's one of the Bijou, albeit the weakest of the 9, with Kyuubi being the strongest, Asuma told the Jinan. This battle has just risen to a whole other level, Kakashi stated as he looked down towards his blonde student. Dobe. Sasuke thought, having regained consciousness. Naruto. Sakura thought worriedly. Shouldn't we stop this? Kurenai asked the other Jonin. Kakashi however shook his head. No, let's see how this plays out. So they are both Jinchuriki, interesting, I wonder what level they are both currently at, the Raikage mused upon seeing the giant sand tanuki. I think they're on my level, grandfather, judging by how they're fighting right now, Yugi-Ito commented. The Raikage nodded in agreement. They are both on the chunin level normally, but when they access their inner powers like this, they look to be on the jonin level. What should we do, grandfather? The Kumo chunin asked him. Nothing yet, he answered as he returned his attention to the match. Beside him the Hokage watched in interest, having not expected this outcome. Suna sent a Jinchuriki into the exam, I wonder why. Especially one with such a poor containment seal, it's almost like they were planning to use him for something, but what? No, this isn't going like I had planned at all, the Kazekage thought angrily as he watched the match progress. Have you got a plan, bro? Gamabunta asked hopefully. Naruto nodded as he bit his thumb and started making hand seals, just one. It will take all of Kyuubi's chakra I currently have to use though, he added mentally as he finished. He slammed his open palm down on the ground and called out, Kushios no Jutsu. There was a sudden explosion of smoke from where he was standing, and the next thing he knew he was standing on a 40-foot toad he knew all too well. Gamabunta, the boss of the toads. He had of course drained every last bit of Kyuubi's chakra he possessed to do it without harming himself, which left him a bit drained physically, but he still had his normal chakra reserves left, so he wasn't complaining. What the hell is that? Kiba asked upon seeing the giant toad in samurai robes with a large dagger at his side. That is the boss toad, Gamabunta, I never thought I'd see him again, Kakashi said surprised. That last time he has been seen by anyone from Konoha was 12 years ago on the night the Ondaime Hokage defeated the Kyuubi no Kitsune, Asuma explained to the Jinan. Really? Sakura asked, having never read about that detail. Grandfather, isn't that Yugito began? Yes, the Raikage interrupted. No Jinan should have the chakra to, she tried to finish. I know, he interrupted again, already knowing what she was going to say. Jiraiya Dono definitely has been teaching this boy. Naruto Kunyu. Hiruzen trailed off in thought upon seeing the giant toad. This damn brat. The Kazekage was seating at the side unnoticed to the other occupants of the booth. The two large creatures had all but taken up all of the room in the stadium with only a small gap between them. The toad puffed his smoking pipe and looked up to the figure that stood on his head. The one that reminded him of his previous summoner. "Not you again, boy, what do you want?" Gamabunta asked annoyed. Naruto looked down into his eyes with a look of disbelief. "Do you not see the giant tanuki in front of you?" Gamabunta turned his gaze towards the monstrous sand creature and narrowed his eyes. "That's Shukaku. I need your help," Naruto said simply as he looked over at where Shukaku stood with Gaara now visibly standing on top of it. "And what makes you think I'll help you fight him of all things?" "The last time I fought a Bijou I received this scar on my eye," Gamabunta told him. "Oh come on Pops, don't be like that. Help the kid out would ya?" Gamabunta asked from on Naruto's head. "Pops? Wait, you two are father and son? Why have I heard none of this?" The blonde Jonan asked surprised. "And what are you doing here Gamabunta?" Gamabunta inquired when he saw the toad that was his son. "Well I came out to play a while back but, that guy over there started bullying me," Gamabunta answered as he pointed towards the giant sand demon. "What?" Gamabunta droned as he drew his dagger. "Alright boy, I'll help you out this once but you owe me a drink," the toad boss said and Naruto nodded in understanding. "As for you." Gamabunta took 2 steps forward surprisingly quickly considering his size and sliced Shukaku's right arm clean off. "No one attacks my son and gets away with it," he shouted as he backed off to avoid the counterattack and the sand arm dissolved. "Ha ha ha ha," Gaara laughed insanely as he made a hand seal. "You amuse me Uzumaki Naruto but your entertainment has come to an end. Tanuki Nari no Jutsu." His body fell unconscious in a matter of seconds as Shukaku's eyes sparked with life. "Ha ha ha ha." Shukaku's laughter echoed throughout the stadium scaring the crowd and everyone else. "That's the demon?" Naruto asked in disbelief at seeing the clearly mad Tanuki. Gamabunta simply stared impassively. "Yes. That's Shukaku, he was always the craziest of the Bijou." "Believe it," Naruto said weakly as Shukaku's gaze settled on them. "Oh goody, my first victims," Shukaku chuckled and inhaled a large amount of air. "Kid, we're going to jump," Gamabunta told him. "What?" Naruto asked surprised only to find that the toad boss had jumped high into the air. "Futon, Rinnegan," Shukaku bellowed as he exhaled a large ball of concentrated wind at where the toad boss had stood just moments ago. The blast exploded with tremendous force through the wall which immediately leveled it. "You won't escape," he shouted crazed as tracked them and launched another attack. "Futon, Rinnegan." "Boss," Naruto shouted upon seeing the 3 monstrous attacks coming at them. "I see them. Suten, Deppo Domino Jutsu." Gamabunta called out as he released 2 condensed blasts of water downwards. "Is this a fight or a storm?" Ino shouted as the 2 attacks collided and sent water spraying everywhere like it was raining. "Go Naruto!" Sakura cheered seeing her teammate winning. "Damn it looks like they missed one," Kiba growled as they all saw one of the wind balls continue on towards the toad boss high in the sky. "Well this is turning into quite the battle," the Raikage commented upon seeing the attacks the two were throwing at each other. "Who do you think will win grandfather?" Yugito asked him. The Raikage remained silent but the smirk remained on his face as he returned his attention to the fight. "You missed one boss," Naruto shouted as he saw the wind blast coming towards them at high velocity. "Damn," Gamabunta grunted knowing there was nothing he could do. "This isn't going to be pretty," Gamabunta said as he covered his eyes. Time suddenly seemed to freeze for a moment as Naruto closed his eyes and breathed slowly. He slowly opened his eyes having sent chakra to them and they now looked like they had rings around the pupils and turned the color gray. Time returned to normal as he pointed his hand down towards the wind attack and whispered 2 simple words. "Shinra Tensei." Almost immediately the wind bullet dissipated into nothingness and Gamabunta fell back towards the ground. He landed in a crouch at the other end of the stadium and grinned as he looked up at his summoner. Naruto stood firm on the toad boss's head with his eyes glowing slightly gray and his jacket was now open and swishing slightly in the wind, just like his previous summoner. "Those eyes." Shukaku shook slightly upon seeing them. "The Rinnegan," he growled out no longer amused. "What happened?" Ino asked confused. "What's up with Naruto's eyes?" Kiba asked as he tried to get a better look at them. He's using chakra in his eyes," Hinata stuttered out. "Why?" Sakura asked confused. "That's the..." Kakashi's eyes widened as he heard what the sand demon had said. "The Rinnegan, the first Dojutsu and has only ever belonged to the first shinobi. The Rikudo Sennin and the man who founded the Shinobi world, Asuma explained just as surprised as everyone else. Wait, you're saying the Dobi has a bloodline? Kiba asked, looked between the Jonin. Apparently so, Kakashi answered, trying to calm himself. Why wasn't I told? Dobe. Sasuke's eyes narrowed in anger at this little piece of information. What is that, grandfather? Yugito asked as she looked where Naruto stood on Gamabunta's head. That is the Rinnegan, an extremely powerful dujutsu, and I think it is the reason my brother asked me to attend this little event. He did say he felt something unusual coming from Konoha. Now I know what he meant, the Raikage explained. There's no doubt about it, that's the Rinnegan, but how is that possible? Neither Minato-kun nor Kushina-chan had it, so why does Naruto-kun have it? 100 thoughts and questions ran through the Hokage's head as he tried to understand what was happening. How can that failure have the Dujutsu? I cannot let him live, he could very well become an even bigger annoyance than Pain, the Kazekage thought angrily as he weighed his options. Believe it, Naruto grinned, as did Gamabunta and Gamikaze. Yeah. The young toad cheered and jumped off the boy's head as his father dashed forward and crossed the stadium in a matter of seconds. Shukaku raised his one arm and made to backhand the oncoming toad when he suddenly found his left sand arm blown off of his body. Shinra Tensei. Naruto called out, having used his gravity manipulation to destroy the arm. He panted slightly, having used up most of his chakra reserves doing so many high-ranking jutsu plus accessing Kyuubi's chakra. Grab him now. Right, Gamabunta shouted in acknowledgement and proceeded to grab onto Shukaku's shoulders. Go. Naruto jumped towards where Gaara stood unconscious on the sand creature's head. Wakey wakey. Naruto called out as he landed a solid punch to the unprotected redhead's face. Rise and shine. He slid down the Tanuki's nose as Gaara seemed to shake for a moment. Wake up, you bastard. Gaara's eyes snapped open and he immediately glared at the blonde for waking him. You. Had enough yet? Naruto asked as he suddenly started to move again. Not so fast, Gaara bellowed as sand shot up, trying to encase Naruto. Shit, Naruto thought as he raised both of his hands in opposite directions. Shinra Tensei. Her called out as the sand was blasted away with pure gravity. He continued running up towards where Gaara stood while dodging the spears of sand that were sent at him. I have to get in close or I am dead. Hold still, roared the Ichibi Jinchuriki as the entire Shukaku body tried to break free of Gamabunta's hold. Hurry up, kid, I can't hold him for long, Gamabunta grunted as he tried to hold on. My existence will not end here, Gaara shouted as Naruto jumped up towards where he was located. Shinra Tensei. He called out as he blasted the sand away that tried to intercept him and landed yet another solid punch to the Sunanin's unprotected face. Got you, he grinned as the sand tanuki started to crack around them before finally it all fell down and dissolved. We'll be going now on, Gamikaze, Gamabunta said before he and his son disappeared in a large poof of smoke. The two shinobi touched down on the now sand-covered ground and sluggishly they both climbed to their feet. Gaara raised his hand towards Naruto and had the sand at the blonde's feet surround him. Sabaku Q. He clamped his fist together and called out, Sabaku SOSO. Shinra Tensei, Naruto shouted as he blasted the sand away from him along the rest of the sand within a 20-feet radius. Those eyes won't help you here, Gaara shouted in anger as he charged forward, having expended the last of his chakra. Naruto swung his arm out towards him and shouted, Shinra Tensei. Gaara immediately found himself being pulled backwards by an invisible force crash through the nearby tree, which surprisingly had remained standing throughout the clash between the two giants from before. Gaara tried to stand but couldn't find the strength to do so and collapsed onto the ground, unable to move. Are you done yet? Naruto asked, exhaustion clear in his voice. My existence won't be extinguished. I won't allow it. The Ichibi Jinchuriki cried out, almost terrified, as Naruto slowly and sluggishly made his way towards him. The pain of being alone, it's not trivial, I understand, but I won't allow you to hurt those that are important to me, Naruto told him as looked down at the fallen Sunanin. Why do you go so far for others? Gaara asked, not understanding. Because they saved me from my own darkness, someone once told me, when a person has something they want to protect, that's when they become truly strong, Naruto answered truthfully. Gaara simply stared at him for a moment before he said, I see, I cannot win. Genma approached the two and upon hearing Gaara's declaration held up his hand to where Naruto stood. Winner, Uzumaki Naruto. He won, Kuji cried out happily and the crowd burst into cheers around him. He actually went and did it, Ino commented in disbelief at her side. Nice one, Naruto. Kiba cheered at seeing his friend's victory. Naruto-kun, Hinata smiled down at where the blonde stood. He won? Yugito asked, not believing her eyes. He actually won? She let a smile grace her features as she stared down the boy. Why, Yugito-chan, if I didn't know any better I would say you had a crush on the young lad, the Raikage commented innocently. Don't be ridicule's grandfather, Yugito stuttered in protest as her cheeks turned slightly red. You're blushing, the Raikage teased. I am not, she said forcefully. Well, I hope you get used to the idea of working with him, because if my plan works out you will be seeing a lot more of him, the Raikage smirked, making her look at him in confusion. Well done, Naruto-kun, though I have to wonder why the Rinnegan would be awakened in you, thought the man who was nicknamed the God of Shinobi. I must begin the attack now, the Kazekage thought frantically. Naruto swayed slightly but was caught by a red blur which he quickly recognized as Jiraiya of the Sannin. Great work, kid, keep this up and you'll reach your dream in no time at all, spoke the Gamma-sennin confidently. Uro-sennin? Naruto asked weakly as his eyes closed. Jiraiya nodded as he laid his godson down on the ground to avoid injury. Sleep now, kid. You earned it. Moments later, though, a large purple barrier went up around the roof of the cage's booth and a genjutsu fell upon the stadium. This marked the beginning of what later became the Tsunoto invasion, as a combined attack force of Oto and Tsunanins launched to strike on the village hidden in the leaves. Naruto groaned as the morning sun shone through the open window. He sat up with another groan and rubbed his tired eyes before checking his surroundings. The room was white and he knew from experience that it was the hospital. Even if the villagers didn't physically hurt him, he was still an orphan and used to get injured at times. You're awake, brat, that's good, a voice said from the window and he turned his head swiftly towards it. Uro-sennin, Naruto said cheerfully. What are you doing here? To see you, of course. What? Didn't think I'd stop by and see how my student was doing? Jiraiya asked with mock hurt. Naruto grumbled at that. I bet you'd rather be off peeking though. Jiraiya grinned but his expression suddenly saddened. True. But I can't right now. Tell me, what is the last thing you remember, Naruto? Naruto rested a hand on his head before answering. I remember that I beat Gaara, but then, it's a blank. That's when you passed out from exhaustion, Jiraiya told him. Nice work with the Kushios no Jutsu, by the way, though I wish you didn't use it in the middle of the stadium. Be glad no one was hurt, because you'd be in a cell right now instead of a hospital bed, Jiraiya told him. Sorry, Naruto said weakly. Don't worry about it, you got off lucky, said the Gamma-sennin. He shook his head before he continued, that jutsu of yours. What did you call it? Shinra-tensei? Naruto nodded at that. That's easily an S-rank jutsu and an extremely powerful one at that. I have an S-rank jutsu? Hey, believe it, Naruto said with a grin. Jiraiya, however, had other ideas on the matter. You weren't able to control it properly though. I was watching you at the end, your gravity manipulation still needs some work. Naruto nodded saddened. I know. The Gamma-sennin sighed at that. We'll work on that later. Maybe we can work on attracting objects instead of blowing everything away like you've been doing. Who won, by the way? Naruto asked, knowing that he couldn't have continued fighting in the condition he was in. No one. Konoha was almost destroyed right after your match, the Gamma-sennin told him. Naruto eyes widened at that. What do you mean almost destroyed? What happened? Suna and Oto launched a combined attack on Konoha right after your match finished. We won and beat them back before they did too much damage, but there were casualties, Jiraiya said grimly. Who died? Naruto rarely stuttered, but he couldn't help it. My former sensei, the Sundaime Hokage, answered the Gamma-sennin. The old man is, damn it, Naruto clenched his fists as images of the man he had thought of as a grandfather flashed through his mind. How did he was interrupted swiftly. It was my traitorous teammate, Orochimaru. He killed Sarutobi-sensei with the aid of his Otonins, Jiraiya answered, already knowing what he was going to ask. He'll pay for that, Naruto told him. Jiraiya nodded in understanding. His time will come, but not right now. So what do we do now? Naruto asked, wondering where they would go from here. Well, I'm heading out to find an old friend of mine. Her name's Tsunade, the council wants her to become the Godime Hokage, Jiraiya said with a sigh. A new Hokage? Naruto trailed off, not knowing his thoughts on the matter. I'm also taking you along, chunin Uzumaki, Jiraiya added with a grin. Naruto's eyes widened at what he had said. I made chunin? Jiraiya nodded in confirmation. You defeated the Tsunade Jinchuriki before a planned invasion. Of course you made chunin, kid. Thank you, Naruto said with a smile. You don't have to thank me, kid, the Gamma-sennin told him and turned his head towards the door. Knock knock. The door opened slightly and Ino poked her head into the room. Can we come in? Yes, we're done here. I was just leaving anyhow, Jiraiya told her, and she opened the door, revealing the entirety of the Konoha 12 as they were dubbed and their sensei. Jiraiya turned his attention back to his student and said over his shoulder, "I'll talk to you later, Naruto. Meet me at the southern gates after the funeral tomorrow." Naruto nodded as he left. "I'll see you then." "Hey Naruto, who was the old guy?" Kiba asked him as he looked at where the old guy had gone. "My new sensei, he's really strong too. He took out a Jonin in one attack and didn't even look like he was trying," Naruto answered, remembering his first encounter with the man. "That was Jiraiya-sama," Asuma stated. "You did great, man, you totally kicked Gaara's ass," Kiba said with barely controlled glee. "Yeah, well, I don't think I could have done it without help," Naruto said truthfully. "Yeah, what's up with your eyes anyways? I never knew you had a bloodline," Kiba asked, the question on everyone's minds. "Well, I don't know really, I mean I'm an orphan and I've never known who my parents are, so I don't know how I got it," Naruto answered honestly. "Now that I think about it, you don't really talk about yourself much, Naruto," Shikamaru commented, raising some eyebrows from the assembled group. "I mean, you always brag about how you're going to be Hokage, but I've never once heard you brag about something you've actually done. You didn't even brag about what you did to the Hokage monument a while back," he explained. "I don't know what you mean," Naruto said, simply wanting to get off this subject. "You're not even bragging about how you beat Gaara and made chunin," Shikamaru deadpan, stopping whatever anyone was going to say. "Why, you made chunin?" Ino asked, astonished. Not even Sasuke-kun had made chunin yet. Yeah," Naruto replied nervously. "Congrats, man," Kiba said as he patted the bedridden boy. "How did you know, Shikamaru? I mean, only Jonin and above know who was promoted," Kurenai asked the young Nara with a knowing smile. Shikamaru sighed, defeated. "I heard about it when I found out I was promoted to chunin also." "Are really?" Ino asked, surprised. "Troublesome," Shikamaru muttered. "Let's go celebrate," Kiba said as he stood up straight. Off in the corner, Naruto's teammates Haruno Sakura and Uchiha Sasuke each had their own thoughts on the matter. How could the Dobi have gotten so much power? How could he have a Dujutsu that was able to defeat Gaara where even my Sharingan wasn't enough? What have I been doing all this time? Were Sasuke's thoughts as he looked on Naruto's smiling face. "Sasuke-kun," Sakura thought wordly as she looked over her crush. The next day the funeral was held for all of the ninja who fell during the Tsunohara invasion, including the kind and strong Sun Daime Hokage. It was a tearful ceremony for all who attended it, and even the sky wept for the loss of a great man. Finally it ended, however, and the sky cleared as everyone slowly left. Naruto reached the southern gates of the village and came across a rather unusual sight. Jiraiya was standing next to a girl, a 13-year-old girl to be precise. "Heiro Sennin, I didn't take you for a pedophile. I thought that was the Hebi team's area," Naruto said with a grin. Jiraiya looked indignant at that. "I am not a pedophile brat. This little missy right here is from Kumo, she's going to be coming with us." Naruto stared at her for a few seconds before asking, "Why?" "Apparently she's the new ambassador to Konoha," Kagama-sennin explained. "Again, why?" Naruto asked, not understanding. The girl looked annoyed at this, though when Jiraiya saw the look on her face he almost mistook her for a miniature Tsunade. Her long blonde hair hung around her head and was tucked out of the way of her face. She wore a dark purple outfit which surprisingly fit her perfectly, and if he were to be honest with himself, if she put on Tsunade's clothes she would look just like the woman, only younger. "Do you have a problem with this?" "It's not like I want to be here, idiot," the girl grumbled. "What did you call me?" Naruto said as he narrowed his eyes. "I called you an idiot. Why? What are you going to do about it?" the Kumo Chunin asked with a grin. Before Naruto could retort, however, Jiraiya spoke up. "She's also the Raikage's granddaughter. Her name is Yatsuki ni Yugito." Yugito looked smug for a second as she thought, now that he's heard who I'm related to, he'll act just like the rest. Naruto paused for a second before he scowled. "I don't care if she's his grandmother. She shouldn't be here. I thought it was just going to be the two of us, Jiraiya-sensei." Yugito's eyes widened in surprise at what he had said. What did he just? Jiraiya shook his head and turned to leave. "Sorry brat, but she's coming with us." "Damn it, like things can't get worse," Naruto grumbled as he followed. "Hey, wait up!" Yugito called after them. After a good half a day walking, the three stopped to set up camp for the night, or should I say Jiraiya and Naruto were setting up camp. Yugito had disappeared an hour earlier. "I thought you were going to teach me a new jutsu, not walk all day," Naruto grumbled under his breath as he tried to get a campfire started. "Naruto, come here," Jiraiya spoke up from the trees. Naruto moved, followed his sensei into the trees and eventually came across what looked like rocks. Giant boulders littered the clearing, all of which looked like they had all been cut pretty deeply. "What is this?" Naruto asked. "This is all the work of our new friend Yugito-san," Jiraiya told him seriously and nodded his head towards where said Kunoichi lay unconscious. "She passed out from exhaustion a few minutes ago," he explained. "She's strong," Naruto muttered as he surveyed the damage. "Yes, she is, she's the Neji Jinchuriki," Jiraiya stated. "You've mentioned that word before. What does Jinchuriki mean?" Naruto asked, having never heard the word before. "It literally means power of the human sacrifice, but it really is a classification. It usually applies to those that have demons sealed inside of them, like you," answered the Gamma Sennin. "Right," Naruto whispered weakly. "So she's just like me?" he asked. Jiraiya nodded before saying, "Yes, she is. I'm going to teach you two jutsus, both of them are rank jutsus." "You're going to teach me now?" asked the Konoha chunin. Jiraiya nodded again. "I also want you to work on trying to reverse your control on gravity. Try to attract objects instead of blasting them away. The first jutsu I'm going to teach you is a jutsu created by my former student. He wanted you to have it, and I hear Kakashi was planning on teaching it to you when you made chunin anyways, so this works out perfectly." "Who wanted me to have it?" Naruto asked, confused. "My former student, the Ondime Hokage, Namikaze Minato," replied the Gamma Sennin. Naruto's eyes widened at that. "He wanted me too." "Watch carefully," Jiraiya told him as he held out his hand and started to spin a large amount of chakra in its palm. It became visible within moments and condensed into a perfect ball of power. A moment later he slammed it into a tree, causing it to explode outwards, destroying the tree and sending shockwaves behind it. "This jutsu is called the Rasengan." "Cool," was all Naruto could say. "It is extremely difficult to learn, however. It took the Yondaime 3 years to create and I myself took a year to learn it. Do not be surprised if you are unable to master it straight away," Jiraiya told. Naruto just grinned. "I'll have it done in a month." "That's a promise." "Are you serious?" Jiraiya asked with a raised eyebrow. He grinned when he saw his apprentice nod. "Good luck then." "What's the other jutsu you're going to teach me?" Naruto asked him, hoping for another powerful one like the last. "Ah." Jiraiya trailed off as his eyes hardened. "I wasn't really planning on teaching you this one, but with another Jinchuriki on this mission I can't help but want to be prepared for anything, so." He made several hand seals and held out his left hand. "Gagyo-fun," he spoke as his 5 fingertips were engulfed in purple flames with kanji visible on them. "This jutsu is specifically designed to disable Jinchuriki. If it is applied to a Jinchuriki seal, then their bijuu's power will be closed off to them," the Gamma Sennin explained. "So you're teaching me this one because..." Naruto trailed off as he looked over at Yugito's unconscious form. "It's just a precaution, just in case she decides to try something," Jiraiya told him. He then walked over to the girl and picked her up. "Come on. We should get back to camp." "Right." Naruto nodded in understanding and followed his sensei, but he couldn't stop taking his eyes off of the girl's sleeping face. "She's cute, what the hell am I saying? I like Sakura-chan, don't I?" It had been 2 weeks since they had left Konoha and they had made a stop at a town 10 kilometers from Konoha. Currently Jiraiya was off somewhere in the town contacting his spy network, though Naruto and Yugito just thought he was off peeping again. Speaking of our two favorite blondes, they both were currently in the hotel room they had booked and discussing the Otosuna assault on Konoha 2 weeks ago among other things. "Wait, you saw me beat Gaara?" Naruto asked the Kumonin from his position on the bed. Yugito nodded. "Yeah, I saw it. You were reckless and downright stupid for summoning Gamabunta of all things to fight in a chunin exam stadium. You're just lucky no one was hurt by your attacks, or his." "Don't I know it," Naruto muttered darkly. Yugito just stared at him for a few seconds before turning away. "Though, you did look kinda cool out there." "Really?" Naruto looked up surprised. Yugito just snorted at his tone. "Don't let it go to your head, idiot." "What about you?" Naruto asked and laughed nervously. "I mean, Nero-sennin said you were like me and Gaara," he continued. "There's not much to say really. I'm an only child. My parents are long dead and my grandfather and granduncle have raised me since I was 6, Yugito answered. "No, I meant about the whole Jin, I can't remember what it is again." Naruto groaned in annoyance, unable to find the right word. "Jinchuriki," Yugito corrected him. "Yeah, that, I mean from what I saw of Gaara. He was brought up to be a weapon for his village. I was used to stop a demon from destroying my home." "What about you?" Naruto asked, curious. Yugito laughed bitterly for a moment. "Me? My parents had a lot of enemies, so my father decided to give me a weapon of sorts to defend myself. He knew I wouldn't survive long since I was their daughter, so he sacrificed himself to give me the power needed to fight on. Naruto smiled sadly at that. He must have cared for you a lot then. But I never even got the chance to meet him, Yugito muttered. Hey, he said, getting her attention. At least you know why you were chosen and you know your parents loved you. That's what matters, Naruto told her. Yugito was about to respond when... Knock knock. There was a knock on the door. Uro-sen can't have been rejected already, Naruto grumbled, standing up. He stopped suddenly however and stared at the door. Rinnegan. Is something wrong, idiot? Yugito asked in annoyance. Naruto took a step back. Either my Rinnegan is acting funny or something's wrong here. What do you mean? Yugito asked, seeing that he had his eyes activated. According to my eyes, Sasuke is on the other side of the door, Naruto told her as he saw the two chakra networks. Your teammate? Here? Why? Yugito asked, confused. That's the problem. From what I'm seeing, this guy is a lot bigger than the Sasuke I know. Whoever's on the other side of that door is not Sasuke, Naruto responded. Knock knock. Well, whoever it is, I don't think they're leaving anytime soon, Yugito said as she slowly approached the door and drew a kunai. She opened the door slowly and took a step back at who she found standing there. Oh no. So these are the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi no Kitsune and the Nibi no Nekomata? I expected more from them, said a tall blue-skinned man who looked similar to a shark and had a massive zanpato. He looks just like Sasuke. Naruto trailed off as he looked the two over. Yugito tensed and said, I recognize them from the bingo book. They're S-rank criminals. The blue one is Hoshigaki Kisame. He's a member of the 7 Shinobi swordsmen of the Hidden Mist and said to be the second strongest of them all. The other though, he's a Nukenin from Konoha. He's the man who slaughtered the Uchiha clan in a single night, Uchiha Itachi. Naruto's eyes widened at that. Uchiha. You'll both have to come with us, Naruto-kun. Yugito-chan, Itachi said in monotone. That's not happening, Yugito growled at him. I'll just cut off their legs so they can escape, Kisame said, stepping forward and bring his sword down on where Yugito was standing. Come here, girlie, he grinned like a shark. Keizuki, Yugito whispered, and her right arm appeared to ignite in pure red flames. Her arm connected with a large zanpato and the two set themselves into a deadlock. Yugito winced slightly as she could feel her hand being melted by her own jutsu. She knew she couldn't hold it for long, but she had to try. That's when she noticed her chakra was being drained by Kisame's sword. My chakra? She trailed off as she struggled to hold the swordsman back. Kisame grinned it down her. Hey, now you get it. Saimata here absorbs chakra, it's the best weapon for fighting you demons. Naruto made the hand seal he was most familiar with and 3 shadow clones popped into existence beside him. Gauge Bunshin no Jutsu. Immediately the two of them rushed to attack Kisame from either side of him, and the third grabbed Yugito by the waist. Without Yugito holding it back, Kisame brought down his sword on where she was standing a moment ago and then in one swift move shredded the 2 clones that were attacking him. Fast little bugger, Kisame said with a grin as Naruto and Yugito now stood at the far side of the room near the window. Are you alright? Naruto asked, not taking his eyes off of Itachi, who still hadn't moved since they had first met. It's nothing, Yugito said, referring to her now burnt right arm. She was currently healing the damage with medical ninjutsu to help thing along. Just give me a minute. Done, Naruto said and thrust out his hand towards the 2 Nukenins. Shinra Tensei. He called out, and with a massive blast of gravity both of the Nukenins, the door and a section of the wall were blown free of where they stood. Did I get them? Naruto asked as the dust began to clear. Not a chance, Yugito grumbled as she saw the dust clear and the other side of the building could be seen. Notice that I said other side of the building, meaning Naruto's last attack blasted open a good section of the building itself, leaving nothing but rubble on the second story of the complex. After a moment of silence, 2 sections of the rubble shifted upwards as Itachi and Kisame emerged relatively unharmed. No, not unharmed. They didn't even look they were phased by that last attack. On the contrary, Kisame was openly grinning. Not bad brats, so you got the Rinnegan. Now that is a surprise, said the swordsman as he shouldered his weapon. Itachi's Sharingan was now spinning wildly as he spoke. I had heard the tales about you having it and I saw your eyes when I first saw you, but I didn't think anything of it. Well damn, Naruto muttered bitterly as the sun shone through the open area. We could be in trouble here, Yugito commented, for the first time thinking they had bit off more than they could chew. Just then, however, the strangest thing happened. A new presence arrived behind the 2 Nukenins, a presence that made Itachi take his eyes off of Naruto. Sasuke, Itachi greeted his brother without looking. Uchiha Itachi, Sasuke spat as Itachi turned to regard him slightly. Who's this twerp? Kisame asked with a grunt. My little brother, the only one I spared during the Uchiha massacre, Itachi answered and appeared bored. Go away Sasuke, you're of no concern to me right now. I have hated and despised you just like you said. Now I will show you my power. Sasuke charged forward as he made several hand seals. Chidori, lightning sparked and encased his hand as he neared Itachi. It all happened in an instant. One moment Sasuke made to stab Itachi and the next Itachi grabbed his wrist and slammed him into the ground creating a small crater. After the Chidori dissipated Itachi lifted him up again and threw him into the nearby wall. Why are you still so weak? Is it because you don't have enough hatred? Itachi asked barely above a whisper though everyone heard it. Why is the gap in our strength still so large? What have been doing all this time? Sasuke asked in thought as he fought down the pain he felt. Mangekyo Sharingan, Itachi whispered as his eyes morphed slightly and he picked Sasuke's beaten body up again. The moment they made eye contact Itachi whispered one terrifying word, Tsukuyomi. Sasuke's body suddenly convulsed for a few moments before he became motionless and Itachi dropped him to the floor. Kisame chuckled at the sight, damn Itachi you're too cruel sometimes. To use that genjutsu on your own brother, damn that's nasty. Itachi didn't respond but instead turned his attention back to the two chunin. Now where were we? Naruto we should run, Yugito whispered to him. Naruto shook his head, not without Sasuke. Kisame get them, Itachi ordered and the swordsman nodded with a grin. Just as he was about to move however a voice called out, Kushios, Gamaguchi Shibari. Suddenly they were all enveloped in some kind of quarter made of red flesh. Kisame looked around and asked, what is this? My jutsu, a voice stated. Turning everyone saw Jiraiya in a crouched position next to the unconscious Sasuke. Naruto, Yugito, don't move. I'll handle this, he told his two companions. Uro-sennin, Naruto sighed in relief. Jiraiya of the Sannin, Itachi said in monotone as he gazed at the man. No wonder Kakashi knew who we were and why we went to Konoha. He must have gotten that information from you, he mused. Jiraiya was uncharacteristically serious as he stood up straight and stared at the two Nuknins. So you really are after Naruto and Yugito? Itachi simply stared at him, to capture all of the 9. That is the order given to us by our organization, Akatsuki. The two chunin tensed knowing that the term 9 most likely meant the 9-tailed beasts. We have been sent to capture them. Too bad for you, you're not getting your hands on them, Jiraiya said with an edge to his voice. Itachi didn't respond but instead turned to his partner, come Kisame. We are leaving. His partner nodded and the two took off down the corridor. Not so fast, Jiraiya said as he poured chakra into the ground causing the walls where the Akatsuki agents had fled to collapse in hopes of crushing the two. After a few moments of silence there was a small whisper which echoed through the corridors, Amaterasu. What followed was the sound of a mighty explosion and then, silence. Jiraiya suddenly dashed forward and turned the corner only to see that part of large mountain Dodi had summoned was blown out and black flames were covering parts of the hole's edge. Damn, they got away, the Gama-sennin muttered as he released his jutsu and the corridor along with the entire building returned to normal. The black flames were still there and so he approached them while pulling out a sealing scroll. This should do it. He laid the scroll out and after writing something on the scroll said, Fukahoin. The flames were suddenly pulled into the scroll and disappeared. I don't know what that was but I will find out. Who were those guys Uro-sennin? Naruto asked as he laid Sasuke up against the wall. They said they were after the 9. They were referring to the Bijou right? Yugito asked him. Jiraiya nodded in response, that's right. I don't know what they want the Bijou for but it can't be for anything good. So let's go deal with them, Naruto said with his Rinnegan activated. If they want us then I want to see them try, he said with an edge to his voice. Jiraiya shook his head, you wouldn't stand a chance against even one of them as you are now. Then what do we do then? Just sit around and wait for them to capture us? Naruto incredulously. The Gama-sennin just snorted at that, what do you do? Hey, that's simple really, get stronger so you can fight then yourselves. Naruto took a step back for a moment and nodded, fine. Hey, Yugito said getting their attention. She was currently sitting over where Sasuke lay with her hands glowing green. For some reason nothing I'm trying is working on this guy. Any idea what kind of jutsu that was Itachi used on him? Jiraiya shook his head in response, it's probably something to do with the Mangekyo Sharingan. The what? Naruto looked up unfamiliar with the term. The Mangekyo Sharingan is the final stage of the Sharingan and is extremely powerful. I don't know what its full capabilities are, but I do know that the last Mangekyo Sharingan user became the head of the Uchiha clan back during the reign of the Shodaime Hokage, Jiraiya explained. Yugito snorted at that. You forgot to mention the guy turned into a madman and tried to kill Shodaime Hokage at the Valley of the End. Jiraiya remained silent at that but nodded anyway. How many of those losers are there exactly? Naruto asked, looking out at the hole Itachi had created. 9, Jiraiya answered finally. 9? Yugito's eyes widened. Jiraiya nodded. There would be 10, but Orochimaru is no longer a member of that organization. The Hebi team was a member? Naruto's question was barely above a whisper, yet filled with so much anger it was almost terrifying. He was until he defected from it in order to start his own little hidden village somewhere in Rice Country, the Gama-senin replied. Sasuke will be alright, won't he? Naruto asked, looking down at his comatose teammate. Jiraiya sighed. Physically he'll be fine. It's his mentality I'm worried about. I'll inform Kakashi about it later, so don't worry. He tensed suddenly and spun round to where the hole in the wall was and saw a green blur appear before him. Guy? Jiraiya narrowly evaded the kick that was aimed for his head, and the green-clad Jonin stopped his assault when he saw who it was. What the hell are you doing? Oh sorry, I thought you were the enemy for a second there. Guy apologized and looked the area over. He took notice of the wall that was blown out and asked, was I too late? It's more like I was too late, Jiraiya said as he gestured towards the unmoving form of Sasuke. Guy looked the young Uchiha over and narrowed his eyes. I believe this is the same jutsu that was used on Kakashi earlier today. He's bedridden and we can't seem to wake him up. Kakashi was also attacked, huh? Jiraiya mused darkly. All the more reason to find Tsunade, he said, turning away. Guy, can you take the Uchiha back to Konoha? We still have a mission to do and we can't delay it, he asked. Guy nodded and picked up Sasuke. I'll head back now. Good luck. Jiraiya nodded. We're going to need it. That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.